All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to share what Terence Crawford's coach had to say about the Teofimo Lopez Devin Haney matchup. And make sure you watch to the end of the video so you can hear my opinion. But Devin Haney fans aren't going to like it a lot. Let's talk about that in this video. Welcome back once again. So this video is going to be about probably the top two lightweights in the division. The lightweight division right now is a very, very stacked division, has a lot of very high quality fighters, but the only two fighters that can really call themselves champions in that division go by the name of Teofimo Lopez, who has the WBA, the WBC franchise, the IBF, and the WBA. Hope I said all those right. The WBO, the IBF, the WBA, and the WBC franchise. And Devin Haney, Devin the Dream Haney, who has a piece of the WBC title, which in my opinion is the real, should be considered the real WBC title. I guess you can call it the WBC regular title, the same WBC title that every other WBC champion holds, whether it is, from Gary Russell Jr. at 126 to Tyson Fury at 100, at heavyweight. That is the weight class. So that's the championship belt for those weight classes for the WBC. And so those are the two guys who are really considered to be the champions. I was listening to a very, very good interview that took place on the Boxing Voice. So shout out to the Boxing Voice. And Bernie the Boxer, who is a very astute boxing fan in the camp of Terence Crawford, gave his thoughts very quickly on what, about the Devin Haney fight that is coming up in December with Jojo Diaz, and also what he thought was going to take place with Devin Haney when he fights Teofimo Lopez. And the short of it is that he believes that he's a very, very good boxer, and that he is going to beat Jojo Diaz, but that he's going to get knocked out by Teofimo Lopez because he cannot punch. Now, do not shoot the messenger on that. I don't 100% agree with it, but I understand his logic. If you listen to the end of the video, I'll tell you what my thoughts on it are. But here's the deal. Devin Haney, and when Devin Haney fights, Devin Haney is a very good boxer. He's an outboxer. He's very good at making somebody hit, hitting somebody and then getting out of the way and making sure that he does not get hit. At a certain point in time, and this is just, something that people have said about boxing for a very long time, as long as I've been listening to it, and I'm sure this is where Bernie the Boxer is coming from. At some point in time in a boxing match, a fight is going to break out. And if you look at guys who are just, really good outboxers, but they don't necessarily have power to go to the body and wear down a fighter that has more power but has close to the same boxing ability that they do, or their boxing ability is somewhere close, you'll find out that the more powerful, the more aggressive guy oftentimes wins the fights, because, when you're dealing with a championship fight, it's a 12-round fight. And you get worn down over time. Your hands come down a little bit. Your body starts getting worn down. And if you don't have something that is going to keep somebody from rolling over you, they're going to get, once they kind of find out and figure you out a little bit, or you get a little bit tired, they're going to go for the gusto. They're going to push the pace on you. And eventually they're going to be able to sit down on punches with no fear of something coming back. The guys wind up getting knocked out. And that is not something that, I'm saying that I'm saying. This is something that is pretty much just known throughout boxing, and where people are observing, and you can name fight after fight after fight where that stuff, where that comes into play. We just saw it with Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant was up in rounds, not up in rounds. He was winning certain rounds. I don't want people to get carried away in the comment section. He was winning certain rounds. He was doing a good job having a competitive fight with Canelo Alvarez, up until Canelo Alvarez did exactly what Canelo Alvarez said he was going to do, which was eventually wear him down and get a stoppage in the later rounds. You also saw Errol Spence Jr. doing that with Kell Brook, a few years ago, where Kell Brook was not able to really get the respect with his punching power of Errol Spence Jr. And eventually, he just rolls over him and gets him out of there. So the question for me, and this is what I think about it, is when JoJo Diaz and Devin Haney fight one another in this next fight, that's going to be the question for me. Because I know JoJo Diaz is going to be coming at Devin Haney, and he's going to be coming at Devin Haney aggressively. And Devin Haney has a significant size advantage over JoJo Diaz, and JoJo Diaz is going to be there to be hit. So my question is going to be: is Devin Haney going to wind up winning the early part of the fight, and then over time JoJo Diaz start trying to press him and get closer to him? Is Devin Haney going to be able to sit down on his punches and do some damage to JoJo Diaz and get JoJo Diaz out of there? JoJo Diaz is a guy that is a 126 pounder. Well, at least he was fighting at 126 pounds early on in his career. Not that long ago, actually, less than 2 years ago, he was fighting at 126 pounds. He went up to 100. Now he's in his third weight class. He wasn't a tremendously big puncher at 126 or 130, so he's not going to be toting a whole lot of metal with him into the ring against Devin Haney. So Devin Haney will not necessarily have to worry as much about what's coming back. Will he be able to sit down and hurt JoJo Diaz? As far as JoJo Diaz, Teofimo Lopez knocking out Devin Haney, I don't believe that that's going to be the case. That's why I'm saying you guys always think I'm hating on Devin. Listen all the way to the end of the video where I actually give you my opinion. I don't see that happening, but I will tell you that I don't think that Devin Haney, if he fights Teofimo Lopez, is going to get a win on the scorecards if he's not able to hurt Teofimo Lopez. Sit down and fight with him at certain points in time in the fight. He's got to be able to do what Andre Ward said. He's got to be able to rattle Teofimo Lopez's cage and keep him up off of there. Now, but as far as the entire conversation going on about Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, I will tell you without a doubt that Teofimo Lopez has ducked Devin Haney, and that may have something to do, maybe he's feeling like he may not be able to catch up with him at the end of the round at the fight, or he thinks it may be a frustrating fight or whatever. Teofimo Lopez definitely owes Devin Haney that fight, or owes it, or has to win that in order for him to be the undisputed champion at 135 pounds. So, I'm not convinced that Devin Haney doesn't have the power needed to do that. I did see him sit down with Jorge Linares and start throwing shots at Jorge Linares and get Jorge Linares' attention. Some people point out the fact that Devin Haney was rocked a little bit with Jorge Linares and wound up having to grab, but I don't think that's a big deal, because I don't think that Devin Haney is going to get hit that much, and also it can be a learning experience for him. But as far as Terence Crawford's training saying that he believed that he'll knock out Devin Haney, I think that is pretty much the logic behind it. Same logic behind why Canelo Alvarez would knock out a Caleb Plant. Same logic about where guys. Matter of fact, even guys, in my opinion. Even guys that have good one-punch knockout power, one-punch power, like a Nassim Ahmed, if you have somebody that is going to be very aggressive with you and you can't fight in the pocket with them, aside from just the power, sit in the pocket with them and be able to, hurt him on a consistent basis with a number of hard shots. Because Marco Antonio Barrera and Prince Nassim Ahmed, that's what I think that you need to see out of Devin Haney. He does not have to have one-punch knockout power to knock out and be able to knock out and really buzz Teofimo Lopez. He just has to have enough power to get his respect in the pocket and make Teofimo think about it, especially if he's able to hit him with several good solid shots and get out of there. So, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section about what Bernie the Boxer says. And by the way, if Bernie the Boxer watches this fight, man, I think the world of you as a boxing analyst, man, and All that other nonsense, man, kick that out the window. I know you know your boxing. Anyway, that's what I think. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.